What's up, guys? Welcome to the Horror and Gore Horror Movie Podcast. It's your host, Dakota. I'm always joined by my best friend and co-host, Goobs. What's up, Goobs? How are you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Been a very busy and difficult week, but I'm doing great right now.
Hell yeah.
So, before we get into our episode of Watch Us Anything, did you do anything big this week or anything?
No, same with you. It was a pretty busy week at work, and then my family was sick with a cold, so that also was a little rough. But I got some good movies in finally, so you know, got some new books. So I'm. It's a good week so far. Busy but good.
True. And of course, Mother's Day was 2 days ago, so had to take mom out to celebrate Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, happy belated Mother's Day to everybody.
Yes. Shout out to all the moms out there. But let's get into what we have watched this week. So, Goobs, I'll let you go first.
All right, so my watch list, I think five. I think I got about six of them this week. But let's go here first. So I finally watched A Woman in the Yard, um, and I get what they were going for. It just didn't land with me. I didn't like how the ending was portrayed, but other than that, it was also kind of just boring. So wasn't the best. Then I watched It Feeds, starring Ashley Greene. It had a very Insidious from 2005 vibe where all the jump scares were followed by real loud noises, but they just overused it so much. So I didn't quite vibe with it. But then I watched finally Transformers 1. It is a banger. I finally watched it and it was so good. Then I finally got around to watching Warfare now that it's on video on demand. And that movie is intense. I'll tell you what. The sound design and how it makes everything seem so surreal, tense and terrifying. Then I watched this really important documentary called No Other Land. Unfortunately, it won Best Documentary at the Oscars. However, there's not a lot of distribution on it on the U.S. side because it is about the conflict in Palestine and everything. So it's a heavy, deep documentary, but definitely one to keep an eye out for. It's called No Other Land. Then, of course, we watched the big one this week, Clown in a Cornfield. Saw that today, or technically 2 days ago.
Then, was that it for you for this week?
Yep, that was it.
For me, I had a big week. You guys knew I watched one movie last week. No, I turned the 1 to 11. I added an extra one right beside it.
There you
So
go.
we're gonna start off with a strong movie, The Accountant with Ben Affleck. Dude, this thing
I
fucking
like that
rips.
one. Yeah.
I love that movie so much. Then after that, I watched the new Marvel movie, Thunderbolts. Really good Marvel movie. I'm like really good. Like I like all of the Marvel movies, but this one is really good. Deep dives into loneliness, into depression, into you should never be thinking about yourself. You should always have somebody with you. I think during the dark times.
Nice.
Um, it's really good. Then I rewatched Halloween Kills.
I saw that.
The one Halloween Kills mentioned every podcast. I had to get in there. Then after that, because of our episode last week, because I've been watching that clip over and over, Colby, Finally watched the Monster Squad. Good. It's good. Goops, have you watched it yet?
No, that's still on the list from last week.
I love that clip. I love the clip of Kobe's like, "You haven't watched it yet?"
Yeah, no, it's unfortunately still on the list.
It's good. It goes by quick, but it's so good. Then I'll rewatch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 for its 2-year anniversary. Still holds up on rewatch.
I didn't watch that one yet.
Oh, you haven't watched Guardians 3 yet?
No, I heard there's some emotional things, and I don't think I'm ready for it. So I'm still spoiler free. So I'm
Holy crap, you're still spoiler free. Oh, it's
yeah,
sad. It is really sad.
yeah. That's the only thing I know.
Banger soundtrack though for all those movies.
100%.
Then I watched Hellfest.
It's a
I actually
great
like
slasher.
Hellfest.
It's a great slasher, haunted house themed. It's great.
I remember that one was released in 2018. I kind of want to see it, but it was during my time. I was like not into horror movies, still a scaredy cat, and I'm like, do I want to see this or not? After watching, I'm like, fuck, I kind of wish I did actually did watch that in the movie theater.
Yeah,
It deserves a sequel.
I agree.
Then, because of our list, also last week, I finally watched Maximum Overdrive.
Fuck yeah. It's so good.
Yes, it is good.
It's so good, dude.
Oh my. Okay, spoiler warning for Maximum Overdrive, real quick. It gets me. They all come there just because they want some gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
Like I said, I always want to ask Stephen King, how much coke were you on when you wrote these books? Because it just is so outlandish. But that is, like I said, one of my favorite adaptations. And because we know Rob Zombie listens to our podcast, make the remake, please.
I love that. No, but what gets me is the whole entire time these trucks want some gas, right? And the little car thing with the gun does a Morse code to tell them that they need gas. I'm like, very clever, very goofy, but if that's how they wanted, then that's how they got it.
Right.
And that's the only movie Stephen King has directed. Also,
Oh, really? I didn't know
yes,
that.
he actually did direct that. Then after that, I was scrolling through AMC Plus, and I was thinking about watching more A's horror movies. Then one popped up after I got done watching Maximum Overdrive, and it's Chopping Mall.
Shopping mall
Huh.
rips.
It's a great movie to watch, especially after watching Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
It's the robots killing people in the mall.
Tell me that couldn't make a great remake in today's day.
To be honest with you, I was thinking if I could remake a movie, I'm like I would love to get my hands on this.
Dude, it's
To be
so
honest with
good.
you, after watching that, I'm like I kind of just want to go back to the 80s. Like even though like I was born in 1999, but I want to go back to the 80s. Like the malls look fun.
Yeah.
Everyone was there. Now you barely see anybody at a mall. Now I'm like, I kind of
Yeah.
just want one of those vibes of going to the mall, having fun and everything. Even that mall have 4 decks. I'm like, big ass mall.
Yeah.
Then after that, I watched the new Shutter release. It was in theaters a couple months ago. This Ugly Stepsister. I thought it was just okay.
Yeah.
Um, for all your people that don't like to read foreign subtitles, this is subtitled. So if you want to watch it, you have to read subtitles. Then after that, I watched the big release of the week, Clown the Cornfield. I will share my thoughts later about that one. Then after that, I watched scrolling through Shutter again, want to get some more horror movies knocked off my list. And I remember the Steelbook at Walmart for this one couple years ago. I think when COVID hit, or like the year after COVID, and that was for Psycho Goreman.
I
Have you seen that one, Goobs?
haven't seen Psycho Gorman, but I actually saw the same director's next movie, Frankie Frico, and I heard it's a lot like that one. So Psycho Gorman's on the list.
It's brutal. Psycho Goreman is brutal. It's funny though. There are some funny comedic
Yeah.
moments in it. But that is it for my watches this week. Hopefully, I can get more than 11 next week. You guys stay tuned for that one. Um, you may never know. I might have 0. I might have 20. Stay tuned. But let's get into movie news this week. We got a lot of movie news this week that we normally do. So first up, we're gonna start with Clown on the Cornfield. We got the weekend total numbers. It makes $3.6 million opening weekend to I think 2,700 something theaters, the widest release ever for RJ. Is it RLJE? I think that's the studio's name. And Shudder. This is their first ever wide release, I think. Um, and to be
Yeah.
honest with you, shout out to our friend Chuck, because without his video posting this about Variety's post, I was wondering what the budget for this movie was, and it's less or about $1 million. So it's made its budget back. And to be honest with you, the marketing was just pumped on social media. I did not see no trailers for this on TV or anything. So all of their money promotions was either social media or word of mouth from us, which is really damn good, especially with the 3.6. And I'm thinking more people gonna probably go with because of word of mouth. And especially shout out to Adam Caesar going live about every night promoting the movie. That
Yeah.
man is a trooper for doing that.
Yeah.
Then next, I saw this Saturday. I got a little bit worried, but then I done my research. Eli Roth is gonna be directing Ice Cream Man. We don't know if it's a original one or if it's a reboot from was it Clint Howard back in the
Uh,
80s, right?
yes.
We don't know. We
Yep.
don't have
Clint
any
Howard.
details on it. The problem is they want to start filming it later this year, and my biggest thing is Eli Roth is attached to direct Thanksgiving 2, and do they start filming it? I don't know, but I done some research, and this past Saturday when they done like the whole when Kobe said he's going to interview him, some other people also interview him, but I don't know if this is true or not. So take this with a grain of salt. They said they didn't start filming it because when the LA fires happened, all the cast got disbanded, so they couldn't come together and actually start filming at that time. So I don't know if they're gonna start filming later on, like this year, to try like push out, like in secret that they're doing it, or if he's gonna do Ice Cream Man first, then they're just because he said it's not canceled, it's just delayed in these
Yeah.
rumors. If they're just gonna push it to next year, which I'm hoping they're doing secret, and they're just going to be like, "Oh yeah, we filmed this as secret."
Yeah.
September rolls around, we get our first poster, teaser, trailer, and then this gets released by the time November hits. Because a lot of articles are still saying that they're still thinking that Thanksgiving 2 is coming out this November.
Yeah.
But then after that, we got some big news from Cineverse, which I was excited about this. On two things, because Cineverse and the other thing they acquired. Cineverse acquires Return to Silent Hill, and it will get a worldwide theatrical release. They don't have a release date. Some people speculate it should be sometime next year in 2026. This is big for Cineverse. This is their fourth movie I think they're going to do worldwide now.
think
because
so.
they're doing Terrifier. They've done Terrifier 3. They're doing Toxic Avenger worldwide. I think they're doing the Silent Night Deadly Night remake worldwide. And
Yeah.
then this is going to be their fourth release. It's
Yeah.
big because I think Cineverse is getting their name out there.
Yeah. They're definitely getting it out there.
But how do you feel, Goose? Because you've seen the first two, right, of Silent Hill.
Yeah. The first Silent Hill was fantastic. The second one, it wasn't as good. It wasn't a horrible movie, but they definitely overused CGI, and you know, it happens. But I'm looking forward to this because, like I said, the games are great. The first movie was it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I know a lot of people don't like the Silent Hill movies, but I like them. They're fun.
And I think the director from the first one's directing this one also. He's directing
Yeah,
it right in.
yeah, that'd be great.
Then for our next piece of news, which I'm excited for, especially after watching the teaser trailer, been here about all the news. We mentioned some of the news on here. The Conjuring, Last Rites, finally got its first teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Goops, did you watch this teaser trailer?
I actually watched this one. I watched it today, and it looks fucking terrifying.
At first time when I saw Michael Chavez attached to direct, I'm like, because of course he did The Devil Made Me Do It. He has done La Llorona. I think that's the one he done.
I think
Um,
so.
and those are not that great. I haven't seen La Llorona. I heard it's not that great. I've seen Devil Made Me Do It. It's not that great at all. Out of the
Yeah.
three Conjuring movies. Then of course when I broke the news on here a couple weeks ago that they're going to do the Smurl case, like that was the rumor. And after watching the trailer, they are going to do the case. And you're right, this looks scary as fuck.
Yeah, that part with the doll, and then it flipped over and then raised up. I was like, nah, nope. Dolls moving by themselves is a no go for me.
The two parts that scared me was that one, and you see the dude with a lamp like smiling and walking.
Yeah,
It looks like towards Lorraine. Oh
yeah,
hell no! I'm excited. And test screen, there's been test screens of this, and they have said this is the scariest out of the whole entire quadrilogy that's going to be. So I'm gonna be sitting my ass in the IMAX theater, opening weekend, getting my ass scared from this absolutely terrifying movie.
yeah.
Then, oh, some great news! Some great news. Evil Dead Burn finally gets a release date. I saw this and I was like jumping for joy. I about screamed out in Chick-fil-A when I saw this. Great moment, like when you go to Chick-fil-A, you're eating the Jesus chicken, you just see Evil Dead Burns gets the release date.
Hell yeah.
Um, it's getting release date theatrically, of course, for 2026. And Goops, I want to say this real quick. David Zaslav wanted to do Evil Dead Rise streaming, right? And they done it theatrically because after he left or after it was Discovery bought him out, and they're like, let's don't do this. Let's do some theatrical. I think theatrically for Evil Dead Rise helped Evil Dead Burn get
Yeah.
made. And to be honest with you, another movie that's coming out this Friday, Final Destination Bloodlines in theaters, was supposed to be on streaming also.
Yeah.
But after that deal was made, they're like, don't put it in theaters. Don't put it on streaming. Let's put it in theaters. And of course, you see what that's if we're going to see what that's going to do this weekend. How you feel about this? That this is getting a release date of July 2026.
I'm excited for it. I know the guy that's directing it is the same guy who did Infested, which is the French spider movie. I that was on the watch list from last year, but I heard it's fucking intense, and I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I hope this one is better than Evil Dead Rise, in my opinion. I hope it's better.
Then I hope it's so. I like Evil Dead Rise, but I hope it's good because like what was that, Spanish or French? He's Spanish, isn't he?
He directed. It was a French movie. I don't know if he's. I think he's actually. I follow him on.
He's either French or Spanish, but whatever it is, the foreign films they get brutal, and I'm thinking that's what Evil Dead Burton's gonna be.
Yeah.
And Sam Raimi's actually attached to produce this. He wasn't even producing the last one. I didn't even know that. I thought he was on there producing the last one with Lee Cronin. Then we got another trailer this week for The Long Walk. Goops, did you see this trailer?
Yeah, I watched that today too. That looks intense.
I like it. Like you said, it looks intense. It's made by a book by Stephen King, which he doesn't even go by Stephen King in that book. When he done his name, it was something else, and they find out later on it was actually Stephen King.
Oh, okay.
It looks intense. The Mark Hamill's in this. Mark Hamill looks mean as shit in this.
Yeah.
David Johnson looks like he's going to give a great performance.
Yeah, and if anybody can make like a dystopian teenage dystopian like thriller like that, it's the director. It's the same guy who did all the Hunger Games movies and the Constantine movie as well.
Francis Lawrence.
Yeah, it's the same guy. So, I mean, he built a pretty good dystopian death game with the Hunger Game movies. So, I feel like this is another one that he could probably knock out of the park.
And J.T. Morner is also writing the script.
Oh, yeah. And Strange Darling was freaking nuts.
So, this movie might actually be really good. And especially if we put David Johnson in one of the lead roles. I'm down for it. Next piece of news for all your avid popcorn bucket collectors out there like myself. We got a new popcorn bucket coming out for Jaws for the 50th anniversary. I don't know if the pre-orders are still up for this, but it's going through Alamo Draft House. Yeah, that's where it's going through.
Yeah.
If you guys are wondering what it looks like, I don't got a picture yet, but it's like have you seen the scoops?
Yeah, it fucking looks awesome.
It's literally like the poster. He's coming up, trying to grab the woman, and the popcorn goes in there. Absolutely cool. I don't know if I'm gonna get it or not, but I wish I could. But do I have enough room? Probably not. Then for our next piece of movie news, we got a new horror movie called Rats. We don't got a premise of it, but I've been loving the premises of our great friends out there. Shout out to Chef talking about Tim Cheese and Biggie
John
Cheese and John Pork, the John Pork universe out there. Colby and Ian did a great breakdown last week in their podcast episode of how it's being all involved. So, Goobs, how you feel about this? Are they going to go the John Pork route and just make this funny? Or are we going to get actually a disturbing Rats horror movie?
Let's hope it's the disturbing rat movie.
What about they did that? It was John Pork. I'm like, Chef will be eating that up right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Lionsgate, so we don't have no details. Like Chef said, what about fucking Remy just comes out of nowhere and be like, "What's up, bros? Let me cook you some ratatouille."
Ratatouille horror movie.
No, let's don't give the Twisted Childhood universe that they might run with that one. Then for our last piece of movie news, which Goops, this will be great for you. Sinners will be re-released this Thursday through next Thursday, back in 70mm IMAX. And one of the places, of course, is Phoenix.
Yeah.
How far is Phoenix from you?
Probably like 30, 40 minutes, something like that. It's not far.
So they're really re-releasing. So you could probably go finally rewatch it in that 70mm IMAX.
I'll have to give it a shot.
I can't. Okay, to be honest with you, I love Final Destination. I love that they're doing this with IMAX, but I kind of wish they re-released Sinners in digital. If you done a half and half with Final Destination and Sinners on digital, I would have not have a problem. But you just doing a 70 mil and just not having no digital releases for everybody that don't have a 70 mil
Right.
kind of bothers me a little bit. Um, but that's it for movie news this week. Let's get right into our main topic. Let's talk about the great movie that came out this week, Clown in the Cornfield. This is directed by Eli Craig, the director of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. This is also a movie that's adapted by the book by Adam Caesar, and this stars William Sasso, I think it is
Oh,
Kevin
Will
Durant.
Sasso.
Oh, Will Sasso, Kevin Durant, Katie Douglas, and a whole bunch of other people. But let's get right into it. Goops, what is your spoiler-free review on Cloud in the Cornfield?
So my spoiler free, um, this movie pretty much was everything that I anticipated it to be. Um, Being that it's based off of a young adult slasher novel, even though the novel went pretty hard, I felt like this was going to be like a really good, just, I don't want to say fun. It's not a serious slasher. It's fun. You do get some great gore. You get some great kills. You get just a great adaptation. And it's just fun. You know what I mean? It's gonna sound weird, but it like I after I got out of it, I was like, I felt like it was one of those films like the first time I watched like Scream when I was younger. It's one of those type of films that gets you excited to look more into the slasher genre and kind of bridge that gap for newer and seasoned horror fans, and it's fucking great.
For me, I love this fucking book. This book is so damn good. I read this when the hurricane hit North Carolina. I read it during that time. Got me through a lot of that time. And going to this movie, I was so excited. And after watching it, I fucking love it.
Yep.
I love this movie. You want to know how much I love it? I gave it a perfect score of 5 out of 5. This movie's so damn good. I'm going to tell you guys right now, Eli Craig did the perfect job. He took the adaptation of the book from Adam Caesar and he done a real good job of it. He took everything that Adam made that book special and he put it into this movie. This whole entire cast is a lot of newcomers. They done a great job. Shout out to Katie Douglas as Quinn Raybrook. She's gonna be a future star not only in Hollywood and horror movies, but especially if this movie can be created into a franchise also. And shout out to Adam Caesar also. Done a great job with the book. I'm glad that not only Shudder, I know Shudder and them picked up, but Eli actually let Adam in on the
Yeah.
project because not a lot of movie studios and directors let these authors and book writers go on the project. And
Yeah.
Adam said he was all in on it. He was a lot of the studio. And shout out to Kevin Durant. He's good as always in this movie.
Yeah.
But damn, this movie's so good. Am I gonna watch it again? Hell yeah, you know I'm gonna watch it again.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know about in theaters, but I know it's gonna be streaming on Shutter. Hell no, I'm not gonna wait till Shutter. I'm gonna buy the copy, physical copy. I'm gonna buy the digital. I'm gonna give as much money to this movie as possible. And I'm gonna tell you guys something else to support this movie. If you guys want to support this movie, go over to Fright Rags right now. I got the T-shirt. They got shirts there so you can buy it for the movie. I got 2 shirts already. I talked to Goobs. I know Goobs said he's going to try to buy some too. I know
Yeah.
some other people got it, but definitely go support this movie in any way possible. Buying shirts. First of all, go see this. Do not wait to when you get to the home and streaming. Wait on the home and digital. no, experience this movie in theaters because sorry about that real quick. Because Goobs is right. This feels like your Scream. It feels like your Scream. Um, Another movie I was just talking about. It kind of reminded me of Thanksgiving. After I watched Thanksgiving, not the bloodiness, not the goriness,
Yeah,
just your straight whodunit slasher,
yeah,
and it
I can
gives
see
me
that.
a lot of 80s vibes. 80s vibes all the way when I watch this from beginning to end, and the soundtrack in this bangs also.
Yeah,
But with that being said, we're gonna get into spoilers for the book and the movie. So if you guys haven't read the book or seen the movie yet, I don't know what you guys are doing. Pause the episode, go read the book, do the audio book if you want to. Buy the book from Adam Caesar, then listen to the audio book so you can follow along. But then go to watch the movie. Come back here, press play. But Goops, let's get right into it. I want to talk about this beginning real quick
all right.
because of course I went to go see this with my mom and she read the book also. The beginning of the book and this is two separate things.
Yeah,
Because of course in the book you see Cole's sister get killed. She
right.
drowns by falling off and by cracking her head open and drowning.
Yeah,
But in this one it goes to like a 90s thing and two teens get killed. So
yeah.
how did you feel about that whole thing right there?
It. So I think why they did that is it set the tone for what the film was gonna be. Because yeah, I was going like, that's not how the book started. But then I guess they mentioned the beginning of the book in the film, so at least it was in there, toward the end. Um, but I felt like it was a great scene and set the tone for what the movie was going to be. Even if it wasn't perfect book to match, it still was fantastic and set the tone.
I thought it was good with this, like you said, set the tone and everything. The other thing I thought this, I told mom about this because she kind of thought that too. There was a lot of things she's like that they did in the book that they didn't do that she didn't like.
Yeah,
I looked at her, I'm like, first of all, if you haven't read the book in this and you're just a general audience member and you go into the movie, a lot of people like shorter movies nowadays. Is- If you done everything in
yeah,
that book, that movie would have been like nearly 2 hours or over 2 hours long.
yeah,
And I think the way they went with this, because especially I think with the character or the actor, the caliber actor you got for Kevin Durant, I think the way they went with the story in the movie went with a lot better with his character because if you done it the other way, and especially how Arthur Hill acts at the end, and we will get to that. I don't know if that could be like a Kevin Durant type of act and more of a what we got in the movie is I like what he got done with that.
yeah,
But of course, after the scene in both of these, we get our first look at we in the movie we got our first look at Katie Douglas as Quinn Maybrook. Her and her dad in this movie, they come to the clown and town, the town of Kettle Springs. I think it's Missouri that this is in
I think
because they
I'm
said
blank.
the middle of the United States. And I think they said
Yeah,
Missouri in the book. All I
I
know
think
is there's a lot of corn.
yeah,
There were some moments in this. I don't know. It might be me reading because I'm a slower reader, and because it felt like the scenes I read in this book, especially with Quinn and her dad, like first getting to the house and everything, felt like longer reading it. But it might just been how long I was reading it for because it went really fast in the movie. It seemed
yeah.
like.
No, I totally get that because I felt the same way. Like there was more of a dynamic between them in the book for sure, and like when me and my wife were watching it, um, when they had the little blow up and she like runs off all mad and stuff. and kind of that bratty teenager. I looked at my wife and I was like, she's not she's not like that in the book all the time. Because but they, of course, they had to show that kind of like estranged relationship kind of conflict that was portrayed in the book for this long and condensed it into this long, you know what I mean, for the movie. Because I think they were going for that short middle ground of like 90 or so minutes that people nowadays like to have, those quicker watches. So I think that's where we didn't see a lot of the parental develop or the character development between them on the movie side that we had in the book.
And I think also because, of course, it describes Quinn's mother having cancer in the book and her passing away from it. And if you
Yeah.
put that in the movie, especially for younger people to watch, that's gonna bring the movie down a little bit depressing,
Mhm. Yeah.
especially for a fun like begin slasher that this wants to.
Yeah.
But there's a moment later on in the movie where somebody mentions something about cancer, and all I'm gonna say is I think it might be Kate Douglas's acting, and it might be in the script or just improvised. There was a scene, and I will mention this later on, that her character kind of done something when somebody mentioned it. But Cubes, you want to get anything before we head on, or do you want?
No, I like how they did, like when they move in and they had that one shot where, because of course, if you read the book, you know that the mother died and everything like that. But when you watch the movie, there's that little scene when she's upstairs and she grabs her bag to come downstairs, and it kind of zooms in on her little dresser area, and it shows the picture of her mom. So it does kind of mention that her mom's not there anymore in that sort of sense. So just little things from the book to the movie, how they were able to adapt it but not go full blown description, like you said. So I liked how they did that.
And I also thought when they described the whole like her looking out the window to the Bay Pen
Yeah,
factory, it felt like when I was reading this at the book, like it was getting towards dark. So the
yeah,
ominous, they how Adam Caesar explained that the whole entire thing seemed it was ominous. It was ragged down and everything.
yeah,
And you tell in the movie that's ragged down, but it feels like it's just kind of like a generic, s- like corn syrup factory that don't look damaged on the outside, but of course later on in the movie you see in the inside that's all
yeah.
damaged.
And didn't in the book, when during that scene is happening, didn't she say that she saw someone or something in the cornfield? Or am I
Yeah, I think, yeah, I think because I was thinking that too when I was seeing the movie. I'm like, I thought thought she saw a clown either in the cornfield or over at the Bay Pen corn syrup
yeah,
factory.
yeah. And so uh, like you said, I think I remember, but yeah, it was definitely a different scene when she first saw the thing, the corn syrup factory. But I yeah, I swear she saw somebody in there. So it built up that somebody's watching me kind of thing throughout the book.
Because I thought it was night because it talks about she goes to bed, she wakes up in the morning, and that's when she meets Rust. But
Yeah,
after because because during the whole entire day morning when this all happens of they move in, it's like they move in, they skip the whole entire night scenes, like you go
yeah,
boom boom real quick, then
yeah,
you get in and she meets Rust, and no, she meets Russ like walking there. Like Russ is never at her door.
yeah. It was that they kind of bumped into each other walking, and in the movie, he's right there on the doorstep.
I'm like, dude, yeah, like how did you know that she was doing go the same school as you?
Right?
FBI like information over here. Um, the other thing that really got me with this is that they show Arthur Hill very early in this movie.
Yeah,
but I think that's also for the general audience because if you see a actor like Kevin Durant in this, right? And especially I think one for the general audience to know where he is, but I think us as people who read the book because it was never announced that who he was playing. Everyone
Right.
else was announced. So if you wait till the very end of the movie and you read the book, you kind of know he is Arthur Hill. So putting it out there that he is Arthur Hill, and it's weird because did they ever mention that he was still married to Cole's mom in the book? I thought he was just by himself.
I
It was
thought
just him and
so.
Cole.
Yeah.
Because I thought the mom went away or the mom something happened to the mom after the sister passed away.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read the book, so I'm just trying to think like the little details in there, but I think you're right. I think it was just him.
And he's not the mayor of the whole entire
No,
area in the book. He just
no.
owns um the corn syrup factory.
Yeah, the destroyed factory. Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, yeah, he was running the Founders Day and the parade and everything like that. And I was like, wait a second, he's not the mayor of this town.
They don't even mention mayor. They mention more of like the person who's running this stuff is the sheriff.
Yeah, the sheriff.
And this is another thing that gets me. The whole entire thing of when Quinn shows up, she shows up right late, but because she shows up late, she gets and doesn't have the test, she gets detention for that, right?
Yeah,
And in the book, she gets detention for laughing at a joke that Cole made at the teacher.
yeah,
And it gets me that the teacher is actually Janet's stepfather, but there's nowhere in this movie that it's her stepfather.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say I agree.
Then another thing that I really picked up on, me and mom mentioned this also. The whole entire Founders Day thing, right? One, they're banned. They're never banned from it.
Yeah,
And guys, when I'm explaining this, I am not bashing the movie or the book. I'm just explaining like the differences, which I think is good for both. The
yeah,
book, like I told you guys, I think the book Caesar done a great job breaking down this book and for everything that I read. But I think Eli Craig also broke this down and changed it up a little bit so we can actually understand the movie a little bit more because especially like for general audiences that haven't read the book or people that haven't read the book in a long time, you'll be
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, about this, this, and this." So I love both of them. I'm not bashing any of them.
Oh yeah,
I'm just breaking down the differences.
yeah,
So the thing that got me, which it went along go really well with the movie. This is what I'm saying with this is they killed off Tucker before the parade
yeah,
because Tucker was at the parade. And the other thing is that in the book, Ronnie and Matt are bad.
yeah,
And they kill Matt at the beginning of the movie.
yeah,
And because I love this about this whole entire thing. Not the killing. I don't love the killing. But just the whole entire thing of because it puts it together because Cole comes up and they're like, "Where's Tucker at?" He's like, "That's where Tucker at." And then um Ronnie comes up with Janet. It's like, "Where's Matt?" So it's like it's very good for the story in the movie because it keeps it like coherent. Like
yeah,
something's going on. It like gets you the right caught right in. It's not it don't take too long
yeah,
because I didn't understand why people were saying, "Oh yeah, it's a little bit boring. It took a little bit to get into." I think this was like the first 10 to 15 like 15 to 20 minutes. I'm like,
yeah,
"You can't get to that real quick?" But it's good setup like this. That was good
yeah,
setup, the whole entire thing. And especially with the YouTube thing. before that.
Yeah.
And even the video when they put in and they see the friendo and they wonder who it is and they
Yeah.
go after them, it sets it up so coherently. I
Yeah.
don't know. It might just be that people just don't like it because it's not your like we all said. It's not your arch. It's not your bloody, gory shit that you get nowadays. It's just like this book was made for young adults. This movie is made for young adults or even younger, even though it's rated
Yeah.
R. You can
Yeah.
perfect example. I heard this during an interview. Is that Eli Craig? No, it's one of the people on TikTok in the horror community. I forgot who was it, but if you got or listening, shout out to you. They went to a screening of Clown on the Cornfield, right? And there was a 9-year-old in the audience. And they said that Eli Craig heard him say that he loved the movie. And he said, "That's my audience. That's why I made the movie for."
Yeah.
And shout out to the kid also because he told everybody go see Sinners. That was a good movie. I'm like, kid knows film. Kid knows film.
Yeah.
Um, but how do you feel about like these little things, differences right here?
Well, yeah, and just to piggyback on like what you were saying, I was born in '88. The peak of like the '90s horror happened when I was like 8, 9 years old. Scream happened in 1996. A little bit after that, it was I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like those type of summer slashers are when I was probably, quote unquote, too young to watch it because obviously Scream rated R. I Know What You Did Last Summer rated R. Even when you get closer to like 2000s with Urban Legend, those ones, the summer slashers are, yes, they're geared to adults being with the R rating, but I was watching them when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. And this is how I felt with this one. Like when my daughter, like I could probably show this to my daughter in a couple years when she is 9, 10 years old. I feel like that's the type of audience to traject them into, whether this is going to be their start of loving horror or this is where they're going to bow out and say horror's not for me, because this is like the perfect movie for that. And to
Very
get it,
true.
yeah, and to get it now when we have, and I like how it had the calls to like younger generations, Gen Z and before and whatnot, how it kind of played on the age, where older viewers will know why it's funny that they don't know what a rotary phone is or, those things. And then a younger audience will go, well, that's funny because I don't know what that is, that type of thing. So I felt it hit the nail on the head for what it wanted.
And like you said, you was born in '88. I was born in '99. I was at the tail end of that. So when
Yeah.
I grew up, I was there in like you can even like vouch for this because you were in like your teens during this time. Every remake was coming out during when I was like growing up.
Yeah.
But these remakes and these other movies, that's when they started throwing the gore, like the like what the people want in these movies now.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw 3D, not 3D, but '03,
Yeah. Oh,
very
three. Yeah.
gory. Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2.
Gnarly.
Like I didn't like horror movies, but I liked Halloween. And you know what? 10-year or 11-year-old me really wanted to buy the DVD of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Yeah.
And I should not be watching that. It was the unrated cut too. I should not be watching that at 11 years old.
Yeah.
But and hell, you should not even be showing Terrifier because me and Goops have seen all 3 Terrifiers. There's no way you should be showing your kids that to like
True.
11 to 12 years old.
There was a family with not little kids, but when I went and saw Terrifier 3 in theaters, me and my wife were sitting there, and then a couple comes in. One had a stroller which obviously that baby's going to be too young to even know what the hell's going on. But then they had like a 7 or an 8-year-old. I was like, I'm all for, parent how you want, but that movie was not good for an 8-year-old. You know what I mean?
I can throw you so many examples. Bloody as hell, gory as hell.
Yeah.
There was a lot more nudity that I think a 7 or 8-year-old should see in that movie.
Yeah, just like, for instance, just the shower scene. No.
Yeah, no one needs to see. No 7 or 8-year-old needs to see man giblets get
right up the butt.
Up. Yeah, they don't need to see that.
But this movie, even though it has blood, it has gore, it is nothing to the level of that. So I would feel comfortable saying, hey, 9, 10-year-old, let's go. You can watch this. Because that's what like I said, it put me back in the mid 90s, late 90s, when I was that age, watching these R-rated horror slashers.
Like you said, it's like me and like for some horror movies I got thrown into. But of course, I waited till older to watch others. Like you said, you got thrown someone to you, and we talked to Colby last week, and he said he just got thrown in there.
Yeah.
And right now, with the way it's going, like you just said, like when your daughters get old enough, you will show this to them. And like when I have kids personally, I am not going to show my 9-year-old or 10-year-old Art the Clown cutting somebody in half, or even Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 when they cuts the guys out. Like, I love Halloween, or even my favorite Halloween movie, one of them, is Halloween Kills Right. The eyeball scene, there's no way that I'm going to be showing a younger kid that.
Exactly. So,
but this one, I would definitely show. This reminds me a lot of what everyone's saying. The classics, your Texas Chainsaw 1974, Halloween 1978. Those were scary, but they didn't have a lot of blood. They didn't have a lot of gore in it. And like this one has a little bit more blood than that.
Yeah.
But it's not that much. It's like in your normal, because PG-13 these days is getting into that territory of having more than they should.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when this came out, the first couple of days, people were seeing it and saying that, this is basic. This is, a basic movie, and it's not even, and it's just like, well, I don't think it was trying to go the extreme slasher way. This wasn't going to be your French extremity horror. You know what I mean? This is just a fun summer slasher that's going to be able to be enjoyed for new people, moderate people, and extreme people. You know what I mean? Every part of the horror spectrum can be hit with this movie. And I think it was perfectly executed.
And I even look at the book, and if they'd done the things that they did in the book, this movie would have been more towards not like the book. You can read the book and just think about it. I think if they'd done some of the things in the book, for example, in the book, when they cut Janet's head off with the circular saw.
Oh yeah,
and they describes it fine. There's no way you could do it in this and be like a starter horror.
No,
like you could read in the book, but of course they put age limits on like books and like schools and stuff for kids to read.
Yeah,
or this like even though that has the age limit, some people are not going to listen. Just going to throw this on.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's get back into the movie. Of course, we talk about that the whole entire thing. The kids getting thrown in jail. I don't remember that either.
Yeah, I know that they got the detention, and I remember that in the book. And as far as the jail, I think that was one of those setting up for just the movie purposes with, don't fuck with friendo and like that type of eeriness to it. And it started to put the audience going, okay, there's something going on with this town. There's something going on with why they keep messing with these kids. You know what I mean? So I think it was like to keep the story going for somebody who may or may not have read the book. You
Do
know,
they say the phrase "don't fuck with friendo" in the book?
I honestly can't remember if they did. I can't remember.
For some reason, I think they do. I thought I've seen that in the book. I might just be thinking that because the whole marketing has been "don't fuck with friendo."
Right?
Um, Great marketing like tagline though.
Oh yeah.
If they have a still book, I need the quote on it. Don't fuck with friendo. Somewhere in the inside or the back.
Right.
Hell, they should make a popcorn friendo popcorn bucket. You know how it's the Scream one? Because you got the Scream one back there, don't you? You know
Yeah.
how I got it too. You know how it says, what's your favorite scary movie? They should make one that said
Yeah.
don't fuck with friendo.
Hell yeah. I agree.
If you do make a sequel, make popcorn bucket says this is don't fuck with friendo.
Oh dude, I can't I need to I need them to green light the sequel.
And we will talk about that very later because I am going to get my whole entire thoughts on that one. I'm excited to talk about that. Um, but I want to skip a little bit forward because, of course, we get to, of course, Quinn's dad um, grounds Quinn, tells her that she can't go to this little party of Cole's. But, she almost to her dad. And the one thing that I love this. I was laughing. My mom was laughing too. You know when he walks upstairs and he starts talking to her, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Those fucking teens."
Yeah. I love I thought that was hilarious because she pulled the old pillows under the blanket all over the bed like she's sleeping. And he just once he sat down and realized it, he's like, these fucking teenagers.
I love that. I was down laughing.
Yeah.
But once you get to and this is another thing that I thought was unique too, because they get you the party, they're having a good time, right? In the book, Cole mentions to her that his dad owns the Bay Pen corn syrup
Yeah.
factory, but that never happens because he's always said he's OG Kettle Springs and he can
Yeah.
get the stuff. But until he is talking to the whole crowd, she don't know that he owns that whole entire property.
Yeah.
And what gets me is that barn house in the book belongs to the people that own the house, right? You
Yeah.
know that in the movie it's actually owned to the factory,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
There's some.
how got it. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was noticing the subtle changes from the book to the movie, and it doesn't take away from any of it. I like how it's.
But then we get the whole entire clown attack scene, which they follow some to the book. I like of when Ginger comes out. Of course, they explain the book. Ginger
Yeah.
comes out. But the thing that's different from the book is when they bring Matt's head out in the friendo mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to get too extreme, I think that Ronnie's death is the most two extreme moments in this movie.
Yeah.
She always just is like, "Oh, nice moment." That said, the Quinn's like, guys, I don't feel a pulse."
The pulse.
And then she starts freaking
And then,
out. She like throws the head.
yeah. Then they freak out. That was one thing, and I can't remember if it was like that in the book because I know they pranked Quinn once or twice in the book with them acting like friendo.
I
It
think it
was
was
once.
once.
I think it was once, and they showed that in the movie, but then they kept playing like it was going to be the it's just Matt and them messing around. It's just them. Don't let it fall for you again. And then they finally realize it. And I liked how it kind of kept the audience guessing. Like, well, for those who didn't see or didn't read the book and know what was coming next, I like how it kept the kind of mystery going, like how they think it's still a joke, but the audience knows, okay, no, people are actually killing it. So who is it within the group? It had that typical who done it. Okay, we're gonna get the reveal soon, and then the twist happened, which still so fucking good.
Yeah. Then of course the killing spree goes on. It's all Russ. No, it gets me because Russ, of course, before they get there, they stop in the road and him and Cole are talking, right? And you find out that him and Cole have a connection somehow. Then he shows up to the party, and he never in the book he didn't show up to the party till after the clowns started attacking him.
Yeah.
And he blows that clown's hand off. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
But they get inside, and this is where it's so different from the book. You know how him and Cole are arguing?
Yeah.
And Russ is like, oh, yeah, we had something. And he's like, Cole's like, we had nothing. And the girls just sit there like, oh.
Yeah.
Don't remember. That was nowhere in the book. And I'm like,
yeah, I don't think because when it happened, I was like, oh. I was the same way. I was like, I don't remember this part of the story, but I'm for it. I don't give a shit. It was great. It was I didn't mind it at all.
Because we don't get that to the end of the book. That was like one of the major plot twists in the whole entire book. I'm reading the book. I'm like, well, that just fucking happened. But I love that. So they're like, oh, they just realized.
Yeah.
All three of them just realized.
Then before he's like when she tried to get with him. Oh, then it rejects. Oh, he rejects everybody. And then
oh no, I want to just say Quinn's a little bit freaky in this movie.
It's so funny. My wife was like, we were sitting next to each other, watching it, and then when he got in the car, started kissing, and then tried to do that. She's like, "Damn, she moved fast." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so."
Yeah, when they got in the bar and they started kissing, I'm like, I remember for this from the book. I'm like, I don't know if they even kissed in the book. I'm like, damn, she going.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right in there. And he's like slower and slower and slower. I'm thinking, okay, it's so. And then Janet's like, oh yeah, he's doing this to everybody. But then, of course, we finally realize that he's actually likes Rust.
Yep.
And you could see this because when the boom blows up, it gets me because in the book, it's a silo that blows up.
Yeah. Not the actual
barn house, like the little shed. But you see his reaction. He's like, "We gotta go back to get Rust."
Yeah,
you can see that. You can see that buildup of all of that, what they just went through right there.
Yeah.
Then of course they run outside, and of course, damn, what the fuck is the cop's name?
Why don't I? Why can't I remember? Hold on.
I don't even want to say the actor's name. I already butchered it once.
Yeah, I know it's Will Sasso, but I can't remember his sheriff.
I want to call him asshole sheriff.
Sheriff Dunn.
Sheriff Dunn. I want to call him asshole sheriff though. That's why he's more of an asshole in this movie than he is in the book.
Well, yeah. The whole time I'm just like, God, he's such an ass. And same thing with the freaking teacher. I'll jump into. I liked the conflict between the adults and the kids. I like how they kept that animosity from generation to generation, from the book to the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did too. There's a lot of stuff that changes in this book. And this, sorry about that if you guys heard that. But what really changed is who got killed and who didn't, and the whole plot also. Because this is when the twist in the book happens of not Janet, but Ronnie and Matt actually working with them, because of course Ronnie is the stepdad to the teacher, or stepdaughter. I don't know why I just that was reverse roles right there.
Right.
But then before they, but after that, they run back in the cornfield and um she gets killed. But I want to know who was holding the chainsaw
I
because
know
we
that.
never find out.
No, that was. I wasn't expecting that running, and right
Oh yeah,
in.
because I heard the chainsaw. I'm like, Mom, it's coming, it's coming, and Mom's like, what happened? She's like, it sounded like somebody was getting sliced in half. And I'm like, no, she's just ran around the chainsaw. So she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the guy was standing there. She just ran right into the chainsaw. Then after that, of course, they go to the house. The person's sitting there. I'm like, okay, this kind of reminds me of the book. But of course, this whole house was a setup,
Yeah,
and it was never set up in the book. Which Janet gets killed a lot later in the movie than she does in the book.
yeah,
But of course, when Janet gets killed, Quinn goes outside. And of course, like you said, the rotary phone. I love the rotary phone,
yeah,
but Janet, where's the buttons? There's no buttons on here. But she goes out. Quinn goes outside, and she gets in the truck. Of course, I love the joke of she's like, "It's a fucking stick."
right. when, when your dad tries to get you to drive or teach you how to drive stick, fucking do it.
But in the book, Matt comes in, and of course, he's driving the Camaro,
Yeah,
and this is how it goes because me and Mom explained this when we were coming home. In the book, she drives with a Camaro to the um, factory. And this she gets taken to bring to the factory.
yeah,
And another difference, Cole's driving a Camaro. The boy not driving the Camaro in the movie.
no,
I was thinking, where I was thinking, I think he's drinking. I mean, driving like a Greek Jeep Grand Cherokee or something
yeah,
in
it
the
was
movie.
something like that. Yeah,
I'm like, dude's the mayor's son, and he don't drive the Camaro.
yeah,
Um, but we get to the factory and we find out this is a whole thing because you know what, at the operating table we find out that the person that got its hand blew off got their hand blew off is the waitress. But we
yeah,
find out in the movie that the waitress is actually at the factory. So we don't even know who the fuck is on the operating table or with Quinn's
yeah,
dad.
yeah.
But it's him, the store clerk. That's a fucking brutal death of his getting his
Oh
head
man,
smashed.
yeah,
Oh no, can we go back to the store clerk
yeah.
when Tucker and Matt are talking
Oh
to
yeah.
each other?
You fucked my grandma.
I got her pregnant. You gonna be my grandson now? I just die like mom's just sitting here. I'm just dying laughing over here. I'm like, oh, you gotta be
Yeah,
kidding me. And I love Cole's like, I paid like three times extra for the beer. Dude just lays $100 bill on the thing. I'm like,
and
can I have some of that money? Um, but of course he's there. The waitress is there. The sheriff is there.
yeah.
Then of course Cole's dad shows up. Kevin Durant looking like the Joker over here, though.
I know. I swear. I was like, I get that, but yeah, that's all I could see. That's all I could see.
Someone's like, "Oh, this is how Kevin Durant becomes the Joker." I'm like, before I heard that, I'm like, "What do you mean now?" Watch the movie. I'm like, "Oh, I know. I mean what you mean now." The makeup, everything, walking around.
Yeah,
Of course, this is very quick too. This whole entire thing is because in the book, Cole's dad does this because he killed the sister, but he also mentions that in the book. He doesn't mention about the bad seed per every generation and that they've been doing this over time. They never mention that in this and in the book and just in the movie. And I thought that was pretty interesting because I think with the actor of Kevin Durant's standard, you could definitely see that in this. But in the book, what me and mom discussed is that in the book there's a scene between Officer Dunn and Arthur of that Arthur don't want to kill Cole, and Dunn wants to. But in the
Yeah.
movie, Arthur hates Cole so much,
Yeah.
and that he wants to kill him so bad.
Yeah. Because
And that, do you kind of? I don't want to say the ending felt rushed from the book, but of course, I think it's the key details between the difference between them, which don't bring the movie down whatsoever. I still love the movie, still 5 out of 5. But do you feel like it was because I know your score? Do you feel like it was rushed for you?
did I feel like
The ending.
yeah, it was pretty quick. Like I said, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that people are trying to get these 90 to 100-minute movies. They don't want to spend 2 hours plus in the theater. But I do feel like even though there were chunks missing from the details of the book, I still feel like it was executed well enough and gave us enough to be enjoyable, for the people who did read the book and know a little bit more. Um, I do like, just before I forget, the scene with the cattle prod in Sheriff Dunn's mouth. Before I forget, that was one of my favorite parts of Cat Knock Something Over. Don't mind that. Um, that was one of my favorite parts within that whole ending scene there. That was brutal as hell.
I thought that too. And what gets me is that during this, Mom mentioned this, they Quinn hurts Arthur Hill in the book. Arthur Hill just drives away. He thinks he kills Cole and just drives away. It's just
Yeah.
like, where the hell did he go?
Well,
That was one of her main problems with it.
yeah. Well, I know when you mentioned that it was like Sheriff wanted to kill uh Arthur in the or Cole in
Cole.
the book. Yeah, because whenever like the scene when he arrests him, he like chokes him out and almost like kills him right there on the side of the road in the book. And on this one, he just takes him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And and it was the reveal of the whole entire time of that. It feels different because in the book, Cole was wondering like, who is this? And we kind of feel like for Cole, of like, who is this? And he realizes this is his dad that's doing this, which he always kind of I think knew that it
Yeah,
could have been his dad, especially how his dad treated him.
right.
Like, yeah, like you can't go to the Founder's Day in the
Yeah, the
beginning of the
parade.
movie and everything like that.
Yeah. And
Oh, oh, what you was gonna say?
oh, uh, I kind of going back from the opening scene to where we're at now, as far as like how the opening scene is her diving and cracking her head and drowning in Cole's sister, and that's not even talked about in the thing. But then I like how they did kind of bring it up while the hatred is so much there for Cole with his dad, saying you killed her, you're it's your fault, that's why I'm doing this, and just like my father before me, and the tradition of the town and whatnot. And I do like how they brought it, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, that's not why he's upset. Like, you know what I mean? That's not why he's the hatred there. But I like how they touch base with it and at
Because
least
he's like
do that.
sometimes there's a bad seed in the family. That
Yeah.
line. And with that whole entire thing of the very ending scene of the whole what was I gonna say? The whole it's the car. Once they get into the car and they take off and you got the dude with the chainsaw, clown with the
Yeah.
chainsaw sitting there and he gets ran spots everywhere. Mom's like, Me and was wondering like, what the hell happened there? There's no way when you hit somebody with the car, they just
No, I think they hit him and he fell into his chainsaw and
that's
fucking exploded.
that's why I told mom. I'm like, is that what happened? She's like, that's probably what happened. Then I like this ending. It's different from the book, but I like it because there is so many ways that they could handle this. And they could handle this with two things. Is that one, the movie's already made enough money they could greenlit a sequel. But if they didn't do a sequel, it's a perfect standalone for its thing. And for this, I like this because, like I said before, it could be a standalone. If this thing, because Quinn could leave away from Kettle Springs and it could go on peacefully, right? But I read the beginning of book 2, and she's in college. And
Okay.
so if they did start with the second movie, they could say that, "Oh, yeah, she went away to college, it's a year later, and this is what
Yeah.
happened."
Yeah. I have not read any of the second one yet. So
I just read,
um,
like I listened to, like, the first 5 minutes of the audiobook, I'm like I was working, I'm like, "I can't do this now."
yeah, the number 2 is definitely on my list as far as my reading list. I don't know if it's going to be easier for me to get the book and read the book or get the audio book and read and listen to it while I'm working or something, you know. But
And
I hope
also
they greenlit it.
me too, and this is why. Mom asked me about the whole entire thing. If you done the scene of Arthur Hill in the plane as a post-credit scene, you
Yeah,
know that a sequel is coming, and
right.
it will leave everybody open if they never make a sequel, like, where's the sequel at? Where, of course, if you done this and then it's a perfect standalone story if they never
Yeah,
make a sequel to the movie. I think that's the what perfect thing that Eli Craig did, and I'm
yeah,
not shocked if I Am Caesar had something to do with that ending right there, just in case.
right.
But, of course, let's talk, that's the whole entire movie, guys. It ends right there. No post-credit scene, of course. Which I'm kinda glad a little bit because we've
Yeah,
been getting a whole bunch of post-credit scenes throughout movie. It seems like every movie nowadays has a post-credit scene.
true.
But let's talk about this. You kinda mentioned this, like, do you think there will greenlit a sequel
I think
after these
so.
numbers?
I think so. And I think the hype is there and the numbers back that up because I mean, you made 3 times your budget in basically 2 days. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they when they do the numbers, it's is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's 3 days. Your first 3 days, you make 3.6.
yeah. I'm curious to see what they did on the Thursday night showings. And they also had a really successful run at the drive-ins when they did the special week before, you know what I mean? So they had a really good um, press run. And I feel like it lived up to the hype on a mass level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wanna
So
see the other thing, I wanna see if this thing has legs on it from all the hype and, like, us talking about and everything.
yeah,
Well, for example, Terrifier 2. Like, you remember when all the hype went around social media and it's got its legs? I wonder if
yeah,
that's what it's gonna do for this.
yeah. Because with this one, with the original story and with it being the slasher that it is, but not just a slasher, I feel like it deserves to have more story. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've never read the second one or haven't read it yet. So I don't know where it would go because obviously I haven't seen it. But I think with you saying, you know, she's in college and whatnot, it could, I don't want to say follow, because just like how in Scream 1, their high school, everything like that. Scream 2, they were in college. So kind of like, and that's not in this, not have it be the same type of movie, but you could do it where Friendo follows us to college or some sort of, you know, you could have people be obsessed with Friendo and create their own cult beyond Arthur. You know what I mean? The original,
Okay.
with the title Friendo Lives. Maybe it's something like that. You could do something like that.
Do you mean give you a little bit of details about the beginning? I remember some of the beginning now.
Yeah.
So what happens is that this everyone thinks that Quinn killed them. Everybody. And it's never the whole entire town. They kind of like have set up like her, Cole, Russ, and all of them have killed
Yeah.
every teenager and everything in the town. Because of course in the book Arthur Hill went away.
Right.
So everyone, because she's back in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania now, in her hometown in college. And a lot of people in the college think that I think it bounces back and forward from her to Kettle Springs, because I think Cole and Rust are in the book,
Yeah.
and of course her dead. So I'm thinking it bounces back and forward, like you said, like the scream just takes place like in the college and don't go from like college to like um Wilkesboro, where this one I
Yeah.
think jumps from Kettle Springs to it, and like you said, like kind of like follows, because the perfect example of how they could set up. Also, you see the Jack in the Box in the car.
Yeah.
Mom's like, who the hell put that in there?
Exactly.
So it could
So,
set up right there.
yeah. And like I said, I haven't talked like Adam just seems like such a cool, down to earth dude. And with the success of this, I think he deserves all the success in the world. And I hope these, not only the second one, but the third one. And I know he's writing the fourth one as we speak. So I'm hoping he gets the full franchise treatment.
And if the four does good, I bet you he's gonna write a fifth book,
Yeah.
because I bet you he will make another trilogy of those books.
Well,
But
have you? Oh, good.
what are you gonna say?
I was going to say it's about Adam Caesar. Have you seen his he's actually written and directed a horror movie that came out just a couple years ago. It's a cult slasher in a bowling alley called Last Night at Terrace Lanes.
No, I want to see it though.
It's a good one. And he, like I said, he both wrote it and directed it. I think he directed it. I know he wrote the movie though. And it's a fun, like I said, it's a fun slasher. It's a definitely lower budget, and it's just one of those movies. And if you like the style, definitely check that one out too. But yeah, just Adam is just a cool, down ass dude promoting his stuff, and I hope they get it. He gets all the sequels.
Yeah, I hope he does too. I hope they get the treatment. I hope they get, especially now where Shudder has their hands on this, they might put more money into the sequel.
Yeah,
Because they,
which oh god, I was gonna say, which would always help if they want to go. They want to bring the envelope or push the envelope more, with because I thought with the $1 million budget, they did a great job with this freaking first one.
yeah. Because there's another movie. I don't know if it got picked up by them, but remember, In the Violent Nature?
Yes,
I think that was picked up by them. I don't think it was.
because In a Violent Nature was a IFC Shutter.
Released by, I don't know if it got picked up by IFC and Shudder.
I think it's a Shutter movie.
No, it's a Shutter movie, but you know how this is a Shutter IFC release? It got
Yeah.
picked up by them though, so I don't know if it got picked up by him, and
Oh.
Chris Nash just made it with his own money at first, and of course,
Oh
when they're
yeah.
doing the sequel, they're gonna put the money into it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Kinda like, you know how they're gonna do if they still do Talk to Me Too, you know how A24 has said they're gonna put money into it while the first one, they just picked it up?
Yeah.
Or, for example, like, Bring Her Back, they gave Rocker Brothers actual money to do that movie while Talk to Me, they just picked it up.
Yeah.
I think that's the same way for Halloween, like, I think whoever bought Halloween bought that from John Carpenter, and that
Yeah.
movie I looked up was like 300,000 to 325,000. Of course, you seen that Universal got the rights to it for number 2.
Yeah. Because, and I mean, this one being, because this technically is another independent film. You know, it was produced and or it was distributed by the RLJ and the AMC, or and Shutter, which is under the AMC umbrella. But from what I've read, and the film itself was produced independently and with the IFC company. So it's another win for independent horror and independent
Yes,
filmmaking.
most definitely. But is that it for you for Clown the Cornfield?
Yeah, just if you haven't seen it, go see it. Buy the books. Um, uh, just support independent film, independent writing. Adam Caesar's an independent writer. Support him. Get his books. He always supports his local bookstore. Like, it's just, he definitely deserves all the support. And the movie,
Especially,
and the movie
we
fucking rips.
and also, go over to our Instagram where where I'm gonna be promoting this episode. I'm gonna tag Eli and Adam in there, so you definitely go follow them on their Instagrams. I'm definitely gonna be tagging Adam on his TikTok, so definitely go follow him on TikTok there also. But guys, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify or Apple, if you guys want to stay with us, hit that follow button, give us a 5-star rating. If you guys listen on Spotify, let's leave us a comment down below what you guys thought of Clown the Cornfield, about the movie or book, and if you're ready for Clown the Cornfield 2 Friendo Lives, because I think it's going to be greenlit soon. And also, same comment down below on YouTube. If you're listening, let us know down there. If you guys want to like the video, hit that like button. If you guys want to stay with us on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification. It would tell you when we post episodes or shorts. But also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. We've been posting a lot more clips on there, some funny ass clips too. Um, Definitely go check those out. Hit that follow button on both of those. Go check those clips out. Follow me and Goobs on our personal social medias. I'll put that down below. And guys, before we head off, I'm gonna give you guys another warning like I did last week. You guys need to go see Final Destination Bloodlines because that will be next week's episode. So if you haven't seen Final Destination Bloodlines by the time it comes out next Tuesday, I'm gonna say that is your doing because we're gonna be talking about that movie and probably the whole entire franchise. So definitely watch the whole entire franchise and that movie. But guys, Goobs, you got anything before we head off?
No, like, follow, share. Be ready for next week, and continuing. We're going to have a lot of different episodes, a lot of different topics. Let us know what you guys may want to see, what topics you guys want us to cover, because we want to make sure you continue to be here with us.
Hell yeah. And guys, with that being said, when you hear Goobs from me and Goobs next time will be next Tuesday for Final Destination Bloodlines and franchise. So I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.